matey. Prepare to be boarded. You're on Fogarty's Cove. Fogarty's Cove. Yar, matey. Fogarty's Cove. Yar, matey. Tonight's episode, Steamed Hams, is brought to you by Silver Space Crickets and Booze. Yar. Crickets and Booze. Yar, so it's Steamed Hams right there. So Superintendent Chalmers pulls up on the house there. He knock on the door. Skinner! And then Skinner answered, hey, Superintendent Chalmers, welcome. And Superintendent Chalmers say, I made it despite your directions. And then Skinner, and they say, I hope you're prepared for an unforgettable luncheon. Yar. And they come on in there, and they sit down in the living room, and they say some stuff there. Right, and he says, if you'll excuse me for just a minute, Skinner, and they dip off into the kitchen there, yar, behind the table, and he's there in the kitchen, right, and then he's egads, my roast is ruined, he says, because there's smoke coming up from the oven, but then he thinks, get behind me, Satan, there's no way you're ruining this roast. And then so he goes out the window. He says, what if I just go buy Krusty Burgers, disguise it as my own cooking? That's fine. He's got a good heart there. He thinks, well, I don't want to make it seem like I'm an idiot. But he is, though. And it's coming in. And then the superintendent comes in. He says, Skinner, what in heaven's name is that smoke coming out of the oven? And then he says, what are you doing on the window first? Because he's going out this crazy, and he says, I'm doing my calisthenics. And then he says, that's a good idea. That's probably good. That's a good plan there. What's with the smoke? He says, not smoke, that's steam. Yar, matey. From the steamed clams we're having. Steamed clams. And then, and Buddy, Skinner goes back into the living room, and then Skinner, doop, out the window there, whoosh, fast you could, over to Krusty Burger. Standing in line in the Krusty Burger there. What am I going to do about steamed clams? Steamed hams, that's what I do. I'll mix them up there, steamed hams. Let's try it out now. And the boy comes up in line. I'll have 4 steamed hams, please. And the boy says, what in tarnation is that? He said, why is that? We don't have that on the menu. They're grilled and they're not made from ham. I'm just trying to let you know. Because I don't want you to be not satisfied with you. So he says, fine. And I'll also have, I said, large fries. 4 large fries or 2 large fries or whatever. And he takes off. Over there, and then the other guy come in, the comic book guy's right behind him, and he says, and the kid says, can I help you? Can I help you? He says, and some people can't be helped, and then it's Troy McClure right behind him. He says, hi, I'm Troy McClure, and you may remember me from such films as Steamed Hams on Fogarty's Cove, because you're on Fogarty's Cove, worst episode ever. And now we're up on back in the living room there. Or the kitchen, or the other one. What's the one? Dining room, where we're having dinner. Downstairs. And then, the main floor. And, from the upstairs and upstairs. It's a 2-bedroom house. I don't know what to tell you about it. I don't know architecture. I wish I could tell you more. Yar, matey. And there we are. And now we're in there. And now we're up in there, and he's in there. And he says, I thought you said we were having steamed clams. And then he say to him, no, I said steamed hams. It's a regional dialect. And then Skinner say, Principal Chalmers there, it's Superintendent Chalmers. He says, what region? And then Skinner say, upstate New York. And then Principal, the other guy, Superintendent Chalmers, he say, well, I'm from Albany, and I never heard of such things. That, and then Skinner say to him, no, it's Utica. He says, and he says, oh. And then, and they say, yeah. And he says, well, you call them steamed hams, despite the fact that they're obviously grilled. And he shows them the grill marks. And he say, and he said, and he goes, and tonight's program is. And then so I says to him there, hey, right? So I'm saying, so I'm gonna go to the kitchen, and then it's fucking on fire. Everything's fucked. I go out there, Skinner. Well, I'm pooped. Everyone's had a good night. Why don't we just go home there? And Skinner, good Lord in heavens almighty, what is that coming out, blazes coming out of the kitchen? I say, Aurora Borealis. He says, Aurora Borealis. At this time of day, at this time of year, localized within your kitchen. And I say, yeah. He's going, yeah. He said, well, can I see it? No. Well, you're an odd fellow, but you steam a good ham, you say there. Yar, matey. And then Mother yell out the window there, Seymour, the house on fire. House on fire. And he says, no, Mother, it's just the Northern Lights. Yar, and you're on Fogarty's Cove. Yar, matey. Yar. Fogarty's Cove. Fogarty's Cove. Yar, matey, you're on Fogarty's Cove. Thanks for listening. Steamed hams. Thanks. Skinner with his crazy explanations. Superintendent's gonna need his medication. When he hears Skinner's lame exaggerations, he'll be troubled down. Yar, matey, prepare to be boarded. You're on Fogarty's Cove.